Hello, welcome to the Early Childhood Department. We are so excited to have you as part of the team. My name is Andrea Benali. I am the Kids Ministry Coordinator here at our South Campus. Hopefully I've gotten the opportunity to meet you. If not, maybe you have met Talia Lee. She is actually our Early Childhood Coordinator for our North Campus. Either way, on behalf of both of us, I would just like to say thank you so much for being willing to serve in our Early Childhood Department. We are so excited to have you as part of the team. We appreciate you greatly. We are so excited just to get into this training and get you plugged in and get you ready for your shadow weekend. So in this video, we just want to talk a little bit about our kids manual. We want to walk through just the different things that you might experience in a classroom, our safety policies, our goals, the things that we want to accomplish in those classrooms. So if you have any questions, there will be a question box just below this video that you of course can include your questions there. And then if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to myself, Talia, or your life team leader. So let's go ahead and jump in. The first thing we want to talk about is our 4 key goals in early childhood. Those 4 things are safety, cleanliness, fun, and having a Jesus-centered environment. So as we walk through this, everything that we talk about is going to be in support of those 4 goals. It is our goal to make sure that we are creating a safe, fun, clean, Jesus-centered environment for parents, children, and our volunteers. So we are so excited to jump into this with you. We are just so thrilled to have you as part of the team. So as we start, we just want to talk a little bit about our expectations for our volunteers. One thing, of course, that we do expect of all of our volunteers is for you to be a fully devoted follower of Jesus. You know, we have lots of opportunities for you to just be engaged in what's going on here at Summit Park. Of course, we want to make sure that you are attending service. We are so blessed to go to a church that has multiple services that not only can you serve on a weekend, but you can also attend as well. Also, we have our life team models. So by serving, you're getting connected in a community of people that is sharing the same gifts and passions as you. That is going to be such a great tool for you to just continue pursuing your walk with the Lord. Also, we want you to be involved in a life group. If that's not something you've been connected with, we would love to help you get connected in a life group as well. And then, of course, serving. There is such a unique blessing that comes from the Lord when we take the time to serve. It grows our faith, it grows our gifts and our talents, and I just see such a special blessing on the volunteers in our early childhood department. So we want to make sure that you are continuing your relationship with the Lord. We also ask that you are passionate about the mission of Summit Park Church. You do not have to be here very long at all to know what the mission of Summit Park Church is. In fact, if you walk into either of our campuses, you can see it actually plastered on the wall. We are all about helping people find and follow Jesus. And you'll probably hear me say this quite a bit. I believe that early childhood and children's ministry, man, we are a double-edged sword. We are a double threat to the enemy. We have the awesome opportunity not only to help children find and follow Jesus, but we create an environment where parents feel comfortable enough to go into service, leave their children with us so that they can find and follow Jesus. Because of you, foundations are being built between families. There is such an awesome thing that we get to be a part of to help build that foundation on Christ between families and to watch families grow in their walk with the Lord. Another thing that we ask, and we may say this quite frequently, is we ask that all of our volunteers show up consistently and they show up mentally. And what that means is we do have our life team model, which I'm sure that you've heard about, but just a quick reminder, our life team model is people who serve together the same weeks of the month and who serve at the same service time. So this is going to be not only the person that serves in the classroom along with you, but also the people who serve at that same service on those same weeks of the month in other classrooms. That's going to be your life team. And so by serving consistently, serving that first or third of the month or second or fourth is going to give you the opportunity to grow with your team, to serve with your team, to build community within that life team, but it's also going to help you to serve consistently. Now, there are going to be some rare cases where you're not able to serve your regular Sunday of the month, in which case we would love to have you fill in on a non-regular, non-typical Sunday for you. We would hate for those kiddos to only get to see you one time that month, and we would love to plug you in case you happen to miss a regular Sunday. So that's the consistently part, the showing up mentally. So we're going to ask that not only do you come prepared to serve in that classroom in the capacity that you've been asked to serve, but we also want you to show up and be prepared mentally and spiritually. We want to have you show up, be prayed up, and be pumped up. We want to make sure that when you come that you have spent time with the Lord throughout the week. We really encourage you to spend time praying over your classroom, pray over those kiddos that you're going to encounter that week, pray over the other volunteer that's going to be serving alongside you and your life team leader that's going to be leading you that weekend. So of course, like I said, we ask you to show up consistently and we ask you to show up mentally. So like we talked about, the life team is twice a month. That would be the consistently. And the mentally is we want you to be prepared and excited and pumped up. And this is going to fall upon one of our other expectations. Of course, we want you to greet families, to greet kiddos and parents with a smile, with enthusiasm, with excitement that they're going to be joining you in that classroom for that morning. We also ask that you attend our weekly huddles. So whenever you receive a request via Planning Center to serve on your weekend, within that request, you're also going to see a time. You're going to see the service time as well as our huddle time. And that time is going to indicate the time that we would ask you to show up and join us in huddle. Now, huddles only last about 5 minutes, but they provide us with so much. So huddle is going to give your life team leader the opportunity to communicate with you any information that you might need to know for that weekend. Huddle is also going to give you the opportunity to connect with your other volunteers, your other life team members. Because we're all spread out through classrooms, we don't always get the chance to know all of our life team members, but this is your chance, showing up at Huddle. Huddle is also a great opportunity for you to be prayed over. We just want to take the time to appreciate your life team leaders want to pour into you, and Huddle is the time for that. And also, Huddle provides one other fantastic thing. It gives you the opportunity to sync up with that other volunteer that you're going to be serving with. Make sure that you're both ready, pumped up, ready to go, and jumping into that classroom. Huddle provides so much for us as a team. It truly sets the tone for what that service is going to look like. So don't be late. It is going to be the number one thing to start you off positively in serving that morning. If for any emergency you might be late, you're always going to want to text your life team leader and let them know, hey, I am 5 minutes out, but I will be there. I'm going to jump into that classroom. I'm going to be prayed up and fueled up for this Sunday. The last thing that we expect of all of our volunteers would be to practice safety with children at all times. And as we go through this training video, we'll talk a little bit more about our safety procedures and what we have in place. And soon you'll be an expert. There'll be no worries, no concerns about you practicing safety at all times. Another thing that we pride ourselves in here at Summit Park is the way that we roll out the red carpet for our families here at Summit Park. That's something that you may hear us say a lot, rolling out the red carpet. There are a lot of things that we have in place that allow us to do that, to help us make sure that kiddos are having a fantastic time, specifically our first-time guests. So a couple things that we have implemented in order to help us all roll out the red carpet for families. Number one would be arrive at your scheduled time. So of course, like I said, that's going to be your huddle time that will always be listed in Planning Center for you. Arriving on time is crucial. It does so many things, and even something as small as being a few minutes late has such an impact on your team. So we want to make sure that everybody is able to arrive on time. That is going to allow us to pour into you during huddle, jump into those classrooms, get those classrooms open. By opening those classrooms on time, we have set the tone for families to drop off their children, especially for first-time guests. That allows first-time guests to drop off their kiddos in a safe, comfortable environment when we've got those classrooms open and on time and we are ready to go. If by chance you're serving a second or third service, you showing up on time allows that volunteer who has already served a whole service to be able to step out of that classroom and go attend a service. So we want to make sure that we are always on time so that we are helping our life team leaders jump into those classrooms and open them, and helping other life teams be able to attend a service after they have served. Again, if you ever have an emergency where you are going to be a few minutes late, you just make sure that you reach out to your life team leader. That's going to allow us to make adjustments within the classrooms. Another thing that we always ask is that you receive your kiddos with joy. We always want to have a smile on our face and be super excited to see them. One thing that we do want to keep in mind is if you ever see a student who has a green sticker like this, says Guest of Honor sticker on it, that means that they are a first-time guest here at Summit Park. So we want to make sure that we take special care of them, that we help them feel comfortable in that classroom. You may have noticed on your first encounter here at Summit Park that we have an incredible hospitality team. We actually have a whole section of the hospitality team that is designed specifically to walk families through this new experience of checking in their kids and finding out where our coffee is and making sure that they get a chocolate donut. And so when we do that, it helps parents to feel more comfortable in this environment. It helps them understand what's going on, what they're going to experience. It leaves no confusion, no question as to what may be going on that morning. So when a child comes to us, we want to provide that same atmosphere inside the classroom. I strongly recommend that you use this as the opportunity to engage with that child, engage with those first-time families, explain to them, hey, it's playtime. We're going to come in here and we're going to enjoy hanging out with our friends, and in a few minutes we're going to clean up, and then we're going to watch an awesome video. We're going to learn all about Jesus. Walk them through what Sunday morning is going to look like. Help them feel at ease. We want to make sure that we pay special attention to all of our first-time guests. And something else that we do in order to help them feel just super special at being their first Saturday or Sunday is we make sure that every child in early childhood goes home with a bottle of bubbles. So what you're going to do is all of these are located in the classrooms. So you'll find not only your thing of bubbles, but you'll also find these little neon label stickers. So what you'll do is you'll take this little sticker, write their name on it, place that sticker at the top, and then this can be left at the front door. That way, when parents come to check out their child, you've got those bubbles all ready for them and they get to take those home as their first-time visitor gift. Of course, we give coffee mugs out to the parents. I think it's only right that we send kiddos home with treats as well. Like I said, we want to do our very best to partner with parents. And part of the way that we do that is a lot of times when it's a first-time kiddo coming in, occasionally they're not too excited about being dropped off. So we want to encourage that excitement. We want to bring a calming, enthusiastic presence to that situation. And one of the ways that we do that is we use the 15-minute policy, meaning that if a child is upset and is a little concerned that mom and dad are not in the classroom with them, we want to work with them for 15 minutes. We want to give them a solid 15 minutes and work with them and interact with them. We try to do 3 different activities. That gives us the opportunity to learn that child's needs, to figure out what is the most comforting to that child. How can I incorporate this child into this classroom and help them feel more integrated into what's going on? It also allows us, in that rare case where we do have to contact mom and dad to let them know that they're a little upset, it gives us the opportunity as your life team leader to contact that parent and say, Mom, Dad, Bobby is a little upset. We've tried playing with blocks. We've tried bubbles. We've tried doing praise and worship. That allows that parent to know that we have been working with that child, that we in no way think, oh, this kid's crying, let's get him out of the classroom. We want those kiddos in our classroom to the best of our ability, and we want to make sure that we take the time to work with them. So that's our 15-minute policy. If for any reason it goes beyond 15 minutes and you think, you know what, maybe it's a great time to call mom and dad, you just grab that radio in the classroom, radio your life team leader, and your life team leader will be able to handle that. They, of course, will take care of texting that parent, reaching out to that parent and getting that situation taken care of so that you can focus solely on your classroom. So that's the way that we're going to do our best to partner with parents. We also want to make sure that if any kiddos come in with items that we label them. So in every classroom, you're going to find a sheet of labels that looks just like this. It says this item belongs to. You can always write that child's name on there and add this sticker. This is especially helpful during the winter time when kiddos are coming in with jackets and scarves and hats and everything else. That's a great way to keep track of that. That is going to make checkout a breeze when you can just find that name on the back of a jacket and pass it off. So we want to make sure that we use those to the best of our ability because we would hate for a child to lose an item that they have brought in. One other thing that we do ask that helps us roll out the red carpet for our kiddos is we want to make sure that we're dressing modestly. This is going to allow us the opportunity to engage with kids. There's a lot of sitting around, hanging out, sitting at the table, sitting at the floor, jumping up and down, interacting, having so much fun engaging with those kiddos and engaging with the curriculum and the lesson. And dressing modestly is going to allow you to do that to the best of your ability. So we want to make sure that we're dressing modestly at all times. And then of course we do ask that you keep your cell phone away at all times. If for any reason there was an emergency and you needed to contact someone, the radio is your go-to. Your life team leader is always going to be there to answer you and to respond and to help you do anything that you might need to do. And if you were needing to reach out to a parent, of course your life team leader would be able to do that as well. So that is how we roll out the red carpet for the kiddos here at Summit Park. So let's move on and let's talk a little bit about our safety procedures. So if you're watching the training, that means that you have already taken the volunteer background check as well as filled out your volunteer application. So that is our first line of safety. The next step that we use in creating a safe environment throughout our classrooms is the 2 volunteer policy. We do require 2 volunteers in a classroom at all times. So in order to accept children into the classroom for check-in, you will have to have 2 volunteers. Now, keep in mind that we do also allow junior volunteers to serve on the early childhood team, which means that's a student that is under 18 years old that would qualify as a junior volunteer. Now, an adult volunteer and a junior volunteer qualify as 2 people in a classroom. Thus, you can accept students into your classroom. However, if you have 2 junior volunteers in a classroom, unfortunately, that would not fit the policy, and at that point in time, you would not be able to accept children into the classroom. So we do want to make sure that we have 2 volunteers at all times. And of course, this goes into play when we start class. As the classrooms are open and service starts, we will have 2 volunteers in each classroom, and we would ask that you do not step out of the classroom for any reason. We want to make sure that we keep those 2 adults in there at all times. This is going to create safety within the classroom, having 2 sets of eyes on those kiddos, as well as create a safe environment for you. You'll always have another adult in there. We would hate for you to ever be in a classroom by yourself. We want to make sure that you have an extra set of hands at all times. So if for any reason you needed a potty break or you need to jump out of the classroom, you can always radio your life team leader and they will assist you in any way that you might need it. Also, as for safety, we use our check-in and check-out policy. You'll see our clipboards at the door. Parents will come to check in their student or their child with 3 stickers. 2 of those stickers will have the child's name on it. 1 sticker will go on the child so we know who they are. The other sticker with the child's name on it goes into the clipboard, into the paper there. The 3rd sticker stays with mom and dad, which includes the security code on it. That security code is going to allow us to check kids in and out. So when a parent comes to check out their child, you'll be able to take the sticker off of the child, compare the security code from the sticker that mom and dad have with the one that was on the child, and then they are allowed to pick up their student. So we want to make sure that we are following that policy at all times. We do have the rare occasion where volunteers who are serving multiple services would like to check their child out temporarily. Maybe they're serving all 3 at the North Campus and they'd like to check their child out to take them to the green room to get a snack, and then they'll be bringing their child back. In that case, we're going to want to take that sticker off the child and stick it on the side of the door. This is going to help us to know that that child is no longer in our care because they do not have a sticker on them. However, when we come around to do attendance, that sticker on the door reminds us that, hey, there is another child who is actually attending this class currently. Then when mom and dad bring that child back, that sticker can come off the door and back onto the child. Remember that whenever a parent checks out a child, even if it's temporary, they will still have to show their security tag in order to do so. Also, we do carry visitors lanyards in all of our classroom. On some occasions, mom and dad might have a kiddo there for the first time, and maybe that child's a little bit apprehensive about being in the classroom, and mom and dad say, hey, could I sit in here for the first 10 minutes or so? We would just give them a visitor's lanyard. They always have these lime green lanyards on them, and of course they say visitor on there. We'd have the visitor, the parent, wear that, and they would keep that on while they were in the classroom. And that's just going to be a nice visual to us to know, hey, this parent should only be interacting with their child. They have not actually been background screened, so we need to make sure that they're interacting with their child. And then as soon as that parent decides to step out, of course, they can just leave that lanyard there. Of course, we do require mandatory reporting. So if you see something, say something. This is a great opportunity to utilize your life team leader. If you see something that seems a little suspicious to you, that you feel a little bit uneasy about, reach out to your life team leader. That is what we are here for. We are here to listen to your concerns and what you've got going on. So please make the time to speak with your life team leader if something feels a little uneasy to you. Another thing that we have is we have our security tags. So we have these colorful security tags. These are going to be located at first time check-in as well as in the classroom. These stickers we actually ask parents to fill out because they are going to be things regarding medical alerts, security alerts, allergy alerts, or potty training. So if any child would fall under one of those categories, such as potty training, maybe they have an allergy and they have an EpiPen with them, maybe there's a security alert for this child. This sometimes comes into play when parents are in the middle of a custody battle and only one parent is allowed to pick up that child. This would be one of those cases where you would use a security tag, and then a medical alert as well. Sometimes these come into play with things like seizures, those types of things. So we want to make sure that any child that falls into that category is wearing one of these stickers. So these stickers, like I said, are kept in all the classrooms, so you have easy access to them. Whenever you fill out your check-in and check-out booklet, there is always a spot in those age-appropriate classrooms to ask, is this child potty training? Is this child in a diaper? If they are potty training and they do not have one of these bright blue stickers on, we want to make sure to grab one of those out of the bin and make sure that the child is wearing one of these. Again, this is a great visual for your life team leader to know we need to make sure that we come by and we do potty breaks for that child to avoid any accidents. So yeah, we want to make sure that we've got those on hand all the time in case you might need them. Those, like I said, are really going to come into play when you're checking kids in and out and you're walking through those questions on your clipboard. Last but not least is physical interaction. Like I did say, we want to dress comfortably so that we can sit on the floor, that we can engage with those kiddos. However, we do ask that children that are 2 years or older, we don't want to keep them on our laps. We want to make sure that they are learning how to sit on the carpet next to us. So as you can see, as you walk through those classrooms and as the classes get older and older, we are trying to train those kids to sit on the carpet for their small group, for the lesson, because eventually when they make it to the elementary, room 5 or room 6, depending on your campus, they sit on mats during their small group time. And so we really want to encompass that into our lesson now, so that when they get to that room, when they get to that stage, they're used to that. So we really try to encourage those kids to sit on the carpet and really engage with them from there. So moving right along to diaper changes and our bathroom policy. Several of these classrooms you will be changing diapers. So our policy on diaper changes is that any female worker who is an adult worker, meaning they're 18 years or older, is able to do diaper changes. So we ask that all male volunteers and junior volunteers do not participate in the diaper changes. So if you're in a classroom where maybe the lead teacher is a male and the assistant is a junior volunteer, that would mean that both volunteers in that classroom cannot do diaper changes. In that case, your life team leader is the one to go to. You will reach out to your life team leader and they can come in and assist you with that. If perhaps you have the opposite situation and you're in a classroom with 2 female adult leaders, that would mean that both of them can do diaper changes, which means both of them should do diaper changes. We would hate for you to come in and be the only one doing diaper changes. We want to make sure that we split that up between volunteers. And of course, we do ask that every child, every service gets a diaper change. Of course, in those classrooms, you'll also have a little label sticker that says changed with love, and you'll be able to slap that sticker onto that diaper so that mom and dad know they got a diaper change while they were here at Summit Park. Also, potty breaks. If you're in a classroom that has children that are potty training or kids who can go to the bathroom on their own, you of course can call your life team leader on the radio and let them know that you have a potty break. So the best way to do this is grab that radio and say, could we please have a potty break in room whatever classroom you're in. That is going to allow your life team leader to know exactly where they need to go. And of course, we want to do our very best to avoid potty breaks during our lesson time. Now, we don't want any accidents, so if someone's got to go, someone's got to go. But we want to do our best to do potty breaks at the beginning during playtime so that those kiddos are not missing out on the lesson for that week. The other thing that we do ask for potty breaks is every classroom has a dry erase board. So what you're going to do when you have a potty break is you're going to write that child's name on the board, and then when your life team leader comes to get them, they will take them to the bathroom, and when they bring them back, you can check that child's name off. That's just a nice little visual, a nice little security check that you know that that child went to the bathroom and came back. It's also really great because occasionally for kiddos who are potty training, mom and dad will ask, hey, did Betty go to the bathroom while she was in here? And you can look right at that board and know, yep, yes she did. She took the time to let us know she had to go potty, and we took her and she went. So we want to make sure that we utilize those dry erase boards and that we are keeping track of those kiddos. And again, we do ask that there are 2 volunteers in each classroom all the time. Even in a rare case where you have more than 2 volunteers in that classroom, we would still ask that you contact your life team leader to take them to the bathroom. Any volunteer who's in a classroom, whether it's just 2 people or there's more than 2 people, we want to make sure that all of your attention and all of your focus goes to interacting with those kiddos. So that is why your life team leader is there. They are there to grab that kid and take him to the bathroom so that you don't even have to worry about it. You should never have to take a step out of that classroom. So feel free to engage with those kiddos, have fun, interact with them, help teach the lesson all the time, and anything you need, you just let your life team leader know. And speaking of life team leaders, they do quite a bit. They also help us fill out any boo-boo reports or injury or accident reports. So if you ever had a kiddo who bumped their head or maybe had an accident or maybe they had trouble in class today, your life team leader is the one to reach out to. They're gonna make sure to help that kiddo out. We're gonna make sure to contact the medical team if that's necessary. We're gonna make sure that that report gets filled out, and we will convey that to mom and dad so that we can make sure that they are filled in on what is going on. So if any of those things were needed, you of course would contact your life team leader. All right, so moving right along, talking about keeping it clean. So of course we want to do our very best to keep the classrooms clean at all times. Sanitizing and hand washing is a big one, especially in those winter months when it's cold and flu season. We want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can to kill all those germs and keeping everybody clean and healthy. So we do ask that you wash and or sanitize your hands before and after eating, specifically in the classrooms that do serve snack. Of course, before handling any of those foods or snacks. Before and after changing diapers, we also want to make sure that we take a wipe and or spray and wipe down that changing pad in between each diaper change. If you were wiping or blowing noses in a classroom, we'd want to make sure that we washed and sanitized our hands after that as well. If you are serving in one of the last services of that day, we would also ask that you take just a moment to lay those toys out, whether on the table or on the floor. You will have disinfectant in each and every one of those classrooms. If you just take a moment to spray those toys down, that just helps us to make sure that we're staying on top of those germs and we're not spreading anything. So if you are serving in one of those later services, go ahead and lay those toys out, give them a good spray with that disinfectant, and help us stay on top of those. If there are any tables that need to be wiped down, like I said, you have disinfectant spray and wipes, as well as not dry erase, but magic erasers, which are a lifesaver on those tables. So if you ever need one of those will be located in your classroom as well. We do also ask that, again, if you're serving the last service, if you just take a moment to pull the trash out of the trash can and set it just outside the door, You'll have a spare trash bags in all of the classrooms, so just throw a new one in there, throw the old just outside. That allows our facility team to come through and clean that up, especially if you're a room that does dirty diapers. We want to make sure those get out of there. We would hate for the staff to come in on a Monday morning to dirty diaper smell. So if you wouldn't mind just throwing those just outside the classroom, that way facilities can come and clean that up at the end of service. We greatly appreciate that. You have no idea how much time that saves us and how much that helps us just keep everything clean and sanitized. And like I said, that's so important to us. We want to keep a clean environment at all times. So moving right along, behavior and discipline. We are so blessed that this is not a huge thing. This is not something that we tend to deal with super frequently, but every now and then we do have children who are maybe struggling a little bit, and maybe they just need a second to jump out of class. Now that, again, is what your life team leader is for. If you've got a child that is maybe creating a little bit of a safety issue, or maybe they're just disrupting the class and they're drawing a lot of attention to themselves, maybe that's a great time to contact your life team leader. We love taking kids for a walk down the hallway when they need a break from class. For some of our younger kids, we actually also have a stroller at both campuses, which is a great thing. When kiddos are starting to get a little upset, we can put them in there and walk them around, and that's always a great thing for us to do. That, again, helps you to be able to focus on your classroom and the students in there and the lesson that is being taught. So if for any reason you had any of those issues, contact your life team leader. So to the best of our ability, we want to make sure that we are keeping a calm environment in those classrooms, and we also want to make sure that we're avoiding any sort of harsh words or intimidating gestures. We want to keep calm and be able to remove that child from the situation. So moving right along to emergency procedures. That is going to be the last of our safety. So your emergency procedures are going to depend on the classroom that you are located in. So you want to make sure that every time you go into a new classroom, you take a moment to familiarize yourself with the safety procedures in that classroom. The emergency procedures will be listed on the wall. You'll have a map that gives you directions on where you would need to go in the event of emergency. And you'll also have some information on things like lockdown or evacuation and what you need to do in order to do those things safely according to the classroom that you are in. So I think that pretty much wraps everything up. That walks us all the way through the kids manual. You have finished the first part of our core training, which is so awesome. We are so excited to have you shadow these next few weeks. We're so excited that you get the opportunity to see all these different classrooms and what they each look like, and just the things that differ between each classroom. We are so excited to have you as part of the team. We look forward to getting to know you. We're going to get you in contact with your life team leader, as well as continue helping train you and get you prepared so that you feel confident in walking into a classroom. We're so excited to have you. We appreciate your willingness to serve, and we'll be in touch.